The Bhagavad Gita is just packed with lessons, but today we're going to zero in on one of its most direct and powerful chapters. It lays out two fundamental blueprints for life. It's a really fascinating look at the very qualities that the Gita says shape our entire destiny.
So, to set the stage here, right before the chapter we're about to dive into, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that what he's about to reveal is the most confidential science. I mean, think about that. He's saying that if you understand this one thing, you become wise and you've basically fulfilled your entire purpose. He's pretty much saying, hey, pay close attention, this is the secret sauce.
And that leads us right into the core idea of chapter 16. The whole concept is that every single person, you, me, everyone, is walking one of two fundamental paths. And believe me, where those paths lead couldn't be more different.
Krishna makes this incredibly simple. He just cuts through all the complexity and says, look, all beings in the world fall into one of two basic natures. On one side, you have the Devi Sampat, which is the divine nature, and on the other, you have the Asuri Sampat, the demonic nature. That's it. Two teams.
And the stakes, they couldn't be higher. He makes it clear right away. The divine qualities, they lead to vimokshaya, or liberation. We're talking real spiritual freedom. But the demonic qualities, well, they lead to nibandhaya, which means bondage, a constant cycle of getting tangled up in suffering. So you see, this isn't just some abstract philosophy. This is about the actual direction of our lives.
All right, so let's start with the good news. Let's look at that first blueprint. We're going to explore the specific qualities that actually define this divine path. The one that leads us toward liberation?
And Krishna is super specific here. He doesn't talk in vague platitudes. No, he lays out a list of 26 distinct qualities that make up a person of a divine nature. You can almost think of it as a complete checklist for a life of real purpose, covering everything from what's going on inside your head to how you act in the world.
So the list kicks off with the qualities that build our inner foundation, our core strength. Things like abhayam, which is a fearlessness that really comes from having a clear conscience. Then there's dhriti, or fortitude, that grit, that unwavering resolve when life gets tough. And jnana yoga vyavastiti, which is just a steady commitment to spiritual wisdom. These are the absolute pillars of our inner world.
Next, he shifts to how someone with this divine nature actually interacts with other people and the world around them. This is where you see qualities like ahimsa, which is nonviolence in your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Satyam, or just plain old truthfulness. And daya, a deep, genuine compassion for all living things. It's really all about living with integrity and a whole lot of kindness.
And the final group of qualities? It's all about taming the ego. This is huge. It includes tyaga, or renouncing selfish desires, nadhimanita, which is just an absence of arrogance or excessive pride, and akrodha, being free from anger. These are the qualities that are said to truly free us from the prisons we build for ourselves.
Okay, so that's the path to liberation. Pretty clear, right? But what about the other blueprint? Now we've got to flip the coin and really examine the psychological profile of the demonic nature, the one that leads straight to bondage.
At the very foundation of this mindset are 6 core traits, and they are hypocrisy, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and maybe the most important one of all, ignorance. A total ignorance of one's true spiritual self. And out of those qualities, a very specific and kind of bleak worldview starts to form. These individuals see the world as having no moral compass, no God, no higher purpose whatsoever. To them, life is just some random accident that came from lust, and its only real goal is to gratify the senses. It's a philosophy that just completely shuts the door on any spiritual reality. And the result of this worldview is described in some pretty stark terms. The Gita calls them lost souls, with meager intellect. And because they don't see any higher purpose, they get involved in these dreadful, harmful activities that ultimately and tragically work towards the destruction of the world.
Now, to make this crystal clear, Krishna actually lets us listen in on their inner thoughts. It's fascinating. It starts with this insatiable greed. I've gained this much today, and I'll get that tomorrow. This is mine, and pretty soon that other thing will be mine too. It's just this endless, anxious treadmill of getting more stuff.
The inner monologue just keeps going, and it reveals this deep-seated aggression and ego. I've destroyed that enemy, and I'm going to destroy others too. I am the Lord.
I am the enjoyer, I am powerful. You see? Their entire sense of self-worth comes from dominating and controlling other people.
And it all wraps up with pure narcissism. I'm rich. I come from a good family. Who could possibly be equal to me? And get this, even when they do things that look good, like giving to charity, the text says it's all for show. It's just to boost their own prestige so they can sit back and rejoice in their own greatness.
So where does all this lead? What's the final outcome of living your life according to this demoniac blueprint? Well, the Gita outlines a very clear and pretty much inevitable downward spiral. A 4-step fall is described. First, they become totally bewildered by endless anxieties. Second, they get hopelessly tangled up in a net of delusion. Third, this leads to an obsessive, all-consuming attachment to sense gratification. And the final step? They fall into an impure, hellish state of being.
Krishna then zooms out and explains the cosmic consequence. He says that he repeatedly casts these envious and cruel souls into demoniac wombs. Now, this isn't just a punishment. It's the law of karma playing out perfectly. Their own nature leads them to be reborn into situations that perfectly mirror and continue their mindset, keeping them stuck in that cycle of suffering.
Now, after laying out these two incredibly different paths and their really serious consequences, Krishna does something amazing. He offers a crucial piece of reassurance.
He turns to his friend Arjuna and says, "Do not grieve, for you are born with the divine qualities." And that line isn't just to comfort one warrior on a battlefield. It's a message for every single one of us. It means our inherent potential, our factory setting, is divine. The path to liberation is our birthright.
And that brings us right back to the present moment, to the final crucial question. The Gita has laid out two complete blueprints for a human life. One is built on humility, compassion, and truth, and it leads to freedom. The other is built on ego, greed, and anger, and it leads to bondage. So the only real question left for us is, which one are you building with today?